After I recorded this, I realized I wrote two of my words in the wrong place on the whiteboard. So peak pose should be next to the body because that's us using our physical body. The heart is next to our intention because that brings us into our emotions. And the mind should be next to the alignment focus because that's when we use our mind and our decision-making processes to figure out how best to align our body and our heart throughout the practice. So I had written peak pose by the mind and alignment by the body. So switch those around when you watch this video. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, so recently in the past week, I have had a few people ask me about how I plan my home yoga practice, and that's where they're getting stuck, is they just don't know how to plan a yoga practice for their house. I have been practicing yoga for 13 years and teaching for the past 10. I just hit that 10-year mark. And it's been really hard for me to develop a personal home practice where I just do my own thing. Normally I've done videos or found sequences written by other people. In the past 5 years I've gotten very comfortable, and all the time it's my main way of practicing yoga is at the house with the sequence I've written, which is mainly due to having children because it's just very hard to get to a class with sitters. Anyways, I've written up a way of how I plan both my yoga classes when I teach and my yoga practice when I start at the house. So the most simple way of doing the sequence is just by breaking it down. I hope you can see this. To warm up, basic, a peak pose, and a cool down. So that's like the most simple way you can do it. For a warm up, it's like poses that you'd move with the breath. And then basic poses would be more dynamic, warming up muscles. And then harder would be poses that require more strength and flexibility. And then your apex pose, of course, would be like your peak pose. I use those two words interchangeably. And then a cool down, so a pose is to bring your body more back into balance before you move off into your day. And then starting and ending with meditation. But then to make it more, I feel like if I just practice like that, it mainly hits my body, and I really want my yoga practice to connect me to my mind, my heart, and my body. So now this is where it might get more complicated, but this is how the things I established before going into the outline of warm-up, basic, harder, apex. I establish these three things first. I establish my intention, I establish the alignment that I want to focus on, and I establish my peak pose. And so normally I'll have one thing that I'm getting inspired by. So for example, and I can do this in any order. So for example, I'm a busy mom, and sometimes I feel like I rush and I'm really quick to anger in how I respond. And so today when I practice yoga for my intention, I really want to work on cultivating more patience because I think that's going to better me off of my yoga mat. And when I think of cultivating more patience, I think about bringing length to my side bodies, really focusing on lengthening from my hips to my armpits and doing some side stretches and breathing. So my heart quality is going to be patience, and my alignment focus is going to be lengthening my side bodies. And then my peak pose, I want to feel really patient and with side long bodies, I'm going to say is Trikonasana. So then with those three factors in mind, I'm going to come up with these. So like warm up, maybe cat-cows, and then like warrior two for some basic poses that's going to bring me length, like a high runner's lunge where I twist to one side. So working through that, apex will be Trikonasana, and then cool down poses. So now let's say I'm going to come back to these three. It's a new day, and I really want to do Pinchamanurasana, forearm balance. That's a pose like I really want to accomplish in today's practice. So that's going to be my peak pose, Pinchamanurasana. And then when I do Pinchamanurasana, my alignment I struggle with the most is core integration. I get really weak in my core. So that's going to be what I practice all classes, like drawing in my core, pulling my bottom ribs down, inflating into my back body. And I And now I'm going to come to my heart quality, and I really want to see this core strength not as something like I have to do because I'm this weak person, but something that I get to do because it's a way of taking care of myself. It brings in that self-care and self-love. So as I strengthen my core all class, I'm going to be thinking like I'm doing this because I love myself and I want to take care of my body. Okay, and then the last one, let's say I come to class, to my riding pad before I practice, and I'm like, I really want to focus on the alignment principle of like strengthening my muscles but at the same time lengthening my muscles. In Anusara Yoga, which I practice, and we actually have specific alignment principles, but you could just have any alignment principle. Like maybe you go to class and there's a teacher always kind of pointing at one thing that you could be working on, so that might be yours. But two of the principles in Anusara Yoga are muscular energy, where we draw our muscles in towards a focal point, and organic energy, where we extend back out. So that's what I want to focus on. And a pose that I really like feeling that in is Hanumanasana, full splits. So that's going to be my apex pose. And then my heart intention for that practice would be working with pulsation and acceptance, because Hanumanasana isn't a pose that is easy for me to do, and I probably won't do it as full as I would like to do it. So I'm going to work with acceptance in the pulsation of life. Life is full of ups and downs, and it doesn't always go the way I want. I'm not always going to be flat in Hanumanasana, very rare. So cultivating acceptance and finding joy within that. So that's how I like to do it. And then that kind of brings in your heart, your body, and your mind when it comes to your alignment. So that's a brain PS that I try to draw to signify mind. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to write up 3 really simple yoga sequences for those 3 that I kind of talked through just now, and I'll leave them in the description below. I will have anywhere between 2 poses and 20 poses when I practice at the house. One of the best things about a home practice is it can be as long or as short as you want. And for me, it's just really helpful to have something written so I have a guide if I want. But normally what happens is I start practicing and then I'm like, oh, you know what? This pose would be nice here. And like, I'm not in a public class, so I can do it. And sometimes it will change around. But one thing that I've found, especially in these past 5 years where I've really developed my own home practice, is setting that intention for myself. Like, I get to really work with an intention that's really, really relevant to my life. So that's the main thing I think of when I practice. Like, breathe in strength or breathe in acceptance in like every pose. Anyways, if you have any questions, let me know. If you're interested in seeing more of these yoga type-ish chats, let me know. Oh, look at my shirt. I really love it. It says, friends, not food.